I believe. And then you empowered me to be that person who can empower others to do that. Um, so thank you so much. I'm grateful. It's been a long journey, a fruitful one, a challenging one, with ups and downs, but also with big successes. I remember during my
And
application,
now you're a big young professor.
yeah, I remember during my application process, you were there. I reached out and you signed the papers, you referenced, the papers, and I was like, wow, you stood up for me. And so thank you so much, Bella Masters. I am a proud product, and I look forward to making more good products like myself and more and bigger, because I've seen bigger dreams in Bella Masters. I've seen young people with big ideas, bright
You're talking
minds.
about our
Yeah, I really hope for the best. I really hope for the best. Recently I was talking to
yes.
I was talking to Deborah Johnson, Deb Johnson, right? SOS. Debbie's doing great out there. She's one of those who were there
On the calls.
on cohort too. She's doing a great job back home in Sierra Leone. She's doing a great
Good to
job.
know. That's good to know. Thank you so much, Desiree. And that was such an honor. I decided to give you the space to talk, even though it was sort of outside of our program schedule. But it felt like you were pouring your heart out there, and I thought that it would be helpful for other people who are new to the program to be able to hear some success story. And that was not the way this was planned, but I do appreciate you being able to pour your heart out. And thank you also for all those amazing shout outs that you did give. I do appreciate it, and it was done from the heart. Again, as a product of Bella Masters, I do say thank you for being able to carry on the mantle, because the concept of Bella Masters is each one teach one. What you learn here, we want you to take it and not necessarily give it to us or just make yourself an amazing human being, but to pass it on. So we say if you teach someone and they do it as good as you, you've done a good job. If they do better than you, you've done a great job. So what you're doing right now at the University of Wisconsin as a young professor, because he may sound like he's an old man, he's still in his early 30s. As a young professor, I admire what it is that you're doing and how you're helping all these young people to navigate their way through life, which are things that we don't learn. So I'm going to let Manuela, who was the one that is supposed to introduce this entire session, to start, because we only have 90 minutes to go. Manuela, go for it.
Okay, hello everyone. You're welcome. I trust we are eager to actually explore what this program has. So this is a mentorship program that is aimed at helping each and every one of us here understand ourselves better, address certain life situations and circumstances better, and to also beat the odds of self-sabotage, your thoughts that are draining you, thinking you're not any better, thinking you're a failure, the way you value yourself, the way you see yourself. So this is a program this program is here to enlighten each and every one of us, to empower us. And the program obviously is created by the president and founder of Bella Masters, a youth leadership developmental program that is aimed at helping young people thrive and achieve their goals. So yes, that's just it about the program. I think we can actually dive into the program. And
all right. Well, thank you so much, Manuela. I am so happy to be here with you guys. It looks like we have 13 people from different countries. And over time, I would like for you guys to go on the chats and let us know where you are logging in from. It will really help us to be able to connect with you now and in the future. Please let us know who you are on the chats, where you're logging in from. We might open it up for you guys to be able to share a few things. A little bit of housekeeping here that we normally do when we do these calls is please make sure to mute yourself wherever you are. If you are somewhere at work, driving, you can mute your video and just mute your audio as well. So that way it will not interfere if someone is trying to listen or if someone is sharing something. And we will open this up as an opportunity for you to ask questions so that we can be able to answer. If all of the questions are not answered within the time frame that we have, we promise that we will be able to share the answers to your questions either on our social media page or our school page, SKOOL. We have a page on school where we get everyone to connect with us. So, if you don't mind, please go ahead and mute your audio. You can put your video on, and I will just go ahead and start. Let me see if I can. Moiki, if you can mute, let me go ahead and mute them. That's fine. All right. So this program today, what we're doing, this is in honor of my dad who passed away 1 year ago today, March 22nd in Cameroon. My dad has been someone that I feel has imparted the kind of knowledge that I feel a lot of parents may or may not do at this time, and a lot of young people today struggle so much with emotional intelligence, mental health, just being able to understand yourself, being able to navigate life's challenges, life's, highs and lows. One day you're in the valley and the next day you're up in the hill, or struggling to get up the hill and then falling back down. Sometimes you go to church and everything they tell you in church is just pray. The beautiful thing about church is that it's fellowship, and praying is an amazing thing. Reading your Bible is an amazing thing because that's where you get all of, I'm saying this and being cautious here because we have a whole preacher, we have a pastor, ordained pastor who's listening, and they'll correct me in a second. But going to church is something that we've all practiced. I don't know if you're Muslim here, or if you're Christian, or what kind of religious background you come from. You know that having faith is one of the things that drives your life. Another thing that may or may not be taught in our schools, in our churches, or in our homes is when you have a sinking feeling, when you have self-doubt, when you don't believe that the future is going to turn out the way you want it to turn out, or when you're going through a breakup with someone, or your parents are going through a divorce, or you lose a family member like me losing my dad and my brother, or you're dealing with just not being sure of who you are. What's my purpose? Who am I? What am I doing here? I don't fit in. Those are some of the struggles that I actually had growing up. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. I felt like this group of people looks like they got it all figured out. Come to think of it, nobody has it figured out. I promise you that. Even Barack Obama doesn't have it figured out. He'll tell you that. Nobody does. But how do you communicate that to young people who are transitioning from teen to young adults and to become adults in the future? They're beginning to get jobs. They're starting to have a family, get a wife, have children, and nobody gives them a picture of what this looks like. You're seeing a highlight reel of some people who, oh my God, we're so married, and they're wearing the same kind of outfits. Or they're showing you pictures of them in Santorini, Greece, and you're like, I don't even have that kind of money to go to that kind of place, so I don't even want to care or look at it. How do you navigate life? And then in your age today, it's information overload. There is TikToks, people who make up themselves and have 5 million lights in front of them. And then what they show you, you want to compare your normal life with that highlight reel. And at the same time, you go to church, and the pastors do not have time to be able to deal with everybody in that congregation, so they do a general please pray. And all you do is hear somebody tell you, I will pray for you. What does that mean? Do you really pray when you tell somebody you're praying for them? If you pray for them, how does that solve the problem? If a Buddha comes to me, Manuela comes to me tomorrow and say, Auntie, I have a challenge with my mom, or I have a challenge with my brother, or I have a challenge with my partner, I don't know how to navigate this. Well, that's your problem. Me too. I also have a problem. Is that what you do? Or do you really sit there and listen to them? I made a big error this week where a friend, a very, very dear friend of mine, shared something very heartfelt with me. And somewhere in between, I lost track of just holding space for them. And I just started talking about my own issues. That would make somebody lose faith and lose trust in being vulnerable with you. So we're here to be able to talk about how you can take care of yourself so that you can better be able to take care of other people. They don't teach us self-care at church. They don't teach us self-care in school. They don't teach us self-care in our homes a lot of times. Some of you maybe have come from homes that you're lucky that you can get that. But what is self-care really? You hear it all over the place. Everybody talks about trauma. Everybody talks about, oh, my peace, oh, my this and my that. What is it? How do you go from A to B without really self-sabotaging, just destroying your own mental state? One of the things that I learned from my dad is you don't have to have everything before you can give, but you have to have some. When you're able to know how to condition your mind, it starts with your thinking. What are the thoughts that are going on in your head? Are you thinking, oh my God, I'm so terrible. I don't even have the money to take care of this. Who am I even to think that I can find this kind of person, this kind of group to join? Who am I to think I can even get this kind of job? Who am I to think? And then your thoughts, you think over 900,000 thoughts a day, and the next day you think the exact same thoughts. When you can shift those thoughts to say, you know what? I am not Oprah. I am not the Kardashian. I am not the most beautiful human being on the planet, but I know I'm beautiful enough. I can find 3 things that I'm grateful for. Start with gratitude. God made me, and I'm still breathing God's breath. It means there is a reason why God wants me to be on this planet. Start there. And then look around. I have 2 feet if you have 2 feet. I can stand, I can walk, I can talk, I can see, I can hear. I'm grateful for those. Do I have food to eat? Yes. Anywhere that sometimes when I wake up, the first thing that I do is I thank God I have a bed to sleep in. Thank God that I can flip a switch and there is electricity. Some of you don't even have lights right now as you speak, am I right? And sometimes when you want to share your... Yeah, Desmond told me that you guys don't have electricity. But those are the small little things in life that we fail to be grateful for. Some of you can make only in Cameroon. I remember my brother was earning 120,000 CFA. I don't know how that translates to $60 in the United States, which is literally somebody's lunch. That's somebody's monthly salary. And not only their monthly salary, but that's salary for him, his wife, and 3 sons. So some of you might think, why am I here when life is so crappy and I don't have somebody to talk to? You have Bella Masters now, remember that. I don't have anybody that can mentor me, advise me. I don't have anywhere to go. My pastor will tell me to pray. My mom will tell me to pray. My parents will tell me, which is a good thing. I'm not dissing prayer. Please do not get this the wrong way. I'm just saying after prayers, after fasting, after the all-nighters, after reading the Bible, you're still sitting with that problem. It doesn't go away right away because God might take a week, 2 weeks, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years to answer that prayer. What are you doing in that period? If you're Muslim, you know what I'm talking about. If you're Christian, you know what I'm talking about. Wherever you come from, because this is safe space. If you guys resonate with what I'm saying, please type, I understand. Or just type, I know in the comments, if you can. Because this is just not me. I'm not telling you something that I am pulling out of my head. I've experienced this. If you know me, you know where I come from. My parents are not wealthy. My dad was middle class. I'm sorry. Before my dad died, he was middle class, but he spent all his money trying to help everybody else. He did not understand. And I have 5 points here that I wanted to share with you guys before we go. We're going to have 90 minutes on this call. So I'm going to talk for the first 20 minutes. Desiree took 5 of it. And then I'll give you the points, and then I'll open it up for questions and answers. And if you guys have something to share, the chat room is open. Feel free to share whatever your thoughts are. I can read them for everybody to understand. But if you have questions, I'll recommend that you put those questions in the chat so that we can read them. You can send the questions directly to Desmond or this Desiree, and they will be able to read those questions. So that way, if you don't want your questions to come up with your name and you want it to be private, just let us know, because this is a safe space. Sometimes you don't want to share your pain directly, but we want you to know that this is a place where you can come and get the support that you need and feel loved and feel valued and appreciated, and you can get some tools to be able to help you resolve some of the challenges that you're facing. Are we good? All right. So we're talking today about self-care. What is self-care? There are 3 things that I learned about self-care. Self-awareness is number 1. Being aware of what you're thinking, who you are, where you're at. It's not your final destination. I am here. I have goals. What are my thoughts about those goals? I have, if you've been in my home, I have dry erase boards everywhere, sticky notes everywhere. I write little things and little notes around. I'm not trying to inundate myself, but if I'm aware of where I am and where I want to go, that's a start. I'm not trying to be 10 million miles ahead of myself. I want to have a family. I want to earn a certain amount of income. I want to be able to launch a business and make it succeed. I want Bella Masters to have 3 different Bella Masters Academy in Rwanda, in Cameroon, and in the United States. I want all of those things. I want to start an airline someday. That's a wild dream. Sorry, I have wild dreams. I have normal dreams, and then I have crazy dreams. So what are those things? But then I have priorities. What are my priorities? Start there. But where am I right now? So that you're not lost in too muchery. That's what my friend and I call it. Too muchery is, okay, I want this, and then I want that, I want to go here, and then I'm this. It's too much. Just have a goal. Where do I want to go from here? How can I get there? Have a plan. Find somebody whom you trust or who has reached that goal. If it's social media, follow them. Ask questions. Don't just sit and wait and think you pray and a miracle will happen out of nowhere. It doesn't work that way. Self-awareness is the first step of self-care. Who are you? How are you taking care of yourself? What are the thoughts that are going on in your head? Who are the friends that you're surrounding yourself with? Are they gossipy all the time? Are they taking care of themselves? I work on the airplane, and no time will the flight take off without us telling you, put your oxygen mask first before. Anybody else know the response? Put it in the chat. Put your oxygen mask first before what? You help somebody else before you put another person's oxygen mask. It's there in the Bible. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The love your neighbor seems like it comes first, but it says you have to love yourself so that you can know how to love your neighbor, right? So the second part of self-care is self-acceptance. Sometimes in life, I have made so many mistakes. At my age, I wanted to have had kids. And I used to hate the fact that I did not have kids. I lost some to miscarriages. I'm sharing my honest truth with you guys right now. But it used to bother me, and I used to think something was wrong with me. Did I do something in my past that am I getting punished for this? And even when I read the Bible and the scriptures like Psalms 23, which says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Makes me lie down in green pastures. I will read that, and I will read Psalms 91, and I will read Isaiah 55. And All of these things give me hope. But as soon as I close my Bible, an hour later, I torpedo back into that same thought process. Do I go back to the Bible to keep reading it? Sometimes no. I'm just letting you guys know that sometimes you may feel like I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. Why am I not where I want to be? Why did I not get the things that I thought I was going to get when I was 15? I'm going to get married, I'm going to have children, I'm going to have a house, I'm going to have money. Yeah, everybody thinks that. But sometimes life happens that things just go a different route and you think that you're a mistake. God is not an author of confusion. We can make mistakes, but God can restore. I'm not trying to preach to you guys. It's not church, I promise. But I'm just saying, when you learn to accept yourself where you are, it's easy for you to create that sense of awareness to be able to know how to move forward. Desiree said this earlier. When I met Desiree in Rwanda, when Bella Masters went to speak at the African Leadership University in Rwanda, Desiree, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a lot of confusion. Am I right? You knew what you wanted, but there was so much doubt and so many things, ins and outs and questions you had. If we had said fast forward 3 years from now, you would be in Wisconsin at a university, being this young and being a professor, checking out, paperwork. Students, what do they call them? Every time I talk to you, you're always marking papers and things like that. You would not believe it because you'd be like, well, but was that the path that you created for yourself? I don't think so. You told me your vision. But look at how God has put you through different areas where now you are at a bigger, broader, better vision than what you created for yourself. So please, I'm begging you, young people, when you make a mistake, everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. I will make tons of them today. I don't plan on them. Don't beat yourself up. Don't punish yourself. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. Oh my God, I'm terrible. Those are the things that you're saying that your DNA registers that I am, is going to keep that in your memory. And then guess what? Subconsciously in the future, those things will start coming. You start seeing terrible things happening and you're like, why is this happening? You told yourself that you are that terrible. I'm not good enough. Things will happen over time. 3 weeks, 3 years, you start seeing people treating you like you're not good enough and you're wondering, why are they doing this? You told yourself that, so you're attracting that. Shift that paradigm. I have an app. I think some of you heard a jingle here. I have an app, it's called I Am. And it gives me affirmations every day about myself. Sorry, this thing came up. It gives me affirmations about myself every day because I don't remember to say these affirmations to myself. I deserve a partner that can get enough of me. I will be unconditionally accepted and cherished by my soulmate. I'm ready to meet myself. These are different, and there are different types of affirmations that has to do with personal guide. I love my life. The love of my life is irresistibly drawn to me. So it tells you, and you guys go and download this app. It's free. Okay, you can pay extra to sort of amplify it. I use it because every day over time, it sends me, and you can personalize it and customize it according to how you want. It sends me affirmations aligned to the things that I'm trying to do for myself and where I'm trying to go with my life. So download the app. It's called I Am. I'm going to put it on the chat. And it gives you different affirmations based on what you feel like you want to do. So if you learn to accept yourself, what are my strengths? Instead of trying to find what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths? Build on those strengths. Your strengths are not necessarily your job strength. strengths. Your strength can be, I am a problem solver. I can bring people together. I'm a good leader. You can have just write them down. I don't know how many of you have a journal. Find a book, exercise books, whichever one you want. I know they don't sell journals in Africa and different parts of the world. Some of you here are from the Philippines, correct? Let me know if you're from the Philippines, what country you're from. Just put it in the chat for me. Wherever you come from, you can have a book. Some of mine, I have like 4 different journals. I write my thoughts, my feelings, because I take them from my head, I put them in the book. And over time, when I look at them, I see how far I've come, what I can change, what I cannot change. And I accept myself as I am where I'm at. I'm not perfect. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for progress. We're not looking for perfection, we're looking for progress. And that's what we're taught. These are not things that they teach us in the areas where we feel, and it's not anybody's fault. It's just the fact that we want to start that now. For you guys to become better leaders in the future, you have to learn to lead yourself. You have to learn to navigate challenges. You have to learn to work through your emotions. The other day I was talking to my therapist and I said I wanted to process an emotion, and she was like, you're not processing an emotion. Let the emotion be there. If you're sad, be sad. It's not a crime to be sad. Just sit with it and ask where it's coming from. What is it there to teach you? You don't have to run away from it all the time. I said I was irritated by something, but then be irritated. So what? We're always trying to run away from the negative. Sometimes the negative is the lesson that we prayed for. Sometimes that's what we need to be able to get to the next level. And the third part is of self-care is self-love. So self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-love. All of these have layers in them that you can unravel. And I'm just going to touch on the main points, and then I'll give you 5 tools that you can take home with you today and be able to work on those. What makes you unique? What do you love about yourself? One of the things I love about myself used to be the thing that people thought was a flaw. I'm an empath. I'll pour my heart out into somebody and people will be like, well, maybe you don't have any self-esteem and so you let people walk. No. I have boundaries, standards, and I have values. My boundaries just stretch further than a lot of people's boundaries, and I can let people in because I have the capacity. If you've not built the capacity, let your boundaries be closer to you so that you can learn to build capacity to tolerate enough that you can handle. How do you say no to people without feeling guilty or without feeling like you need to explain yourself? I'm sorry, no, I can't do that right now, but I can offer this and this and this much kind of help. That's you loving on yourself and saying, I want to keep this space at peace. It's not necessarily, oh my God, no. You don't need the attitude. I promise you, you don't. All of that is extra. I mean, you can do it if you want to. But with self-love, you ask yourself, what makes yourself unique? How do you protect your mind? How do you protect your energy and space? There's certain things that I don't watch horror movies. Maybe fun. I don't watch them. I don't need that in my head. The world is scary enough sometimes. I don't care to go and watch some things where somebody's killing another person and then they're doing this and like too much of that. My brain doesn't need that. I don't need to teach myself how to do those type of things. So I am very, very conscious and cautious about how I create my space. That's where I find peace, because I find peace from within and I create peace on the outside so we can match. Now, I'm going to list these 3 things, but I'm going to write them in an elaborate form because I want to make time for some of you to be able to ask your questions, to share. The 3 ways that I feel you can be able to work on self-care is mindset reset. When we grow up in the environments where we grow up, we're given a specific mindset because our environments create a certain paradigm. This is how I was raised. This is how my mom did it. This is how my dad did it. If your mom and dad and your environment is not the same and does not align with the vision and the goals that God has put in your heart, You might want to find the positive values of where you were raised and create new values for yourself. So you need to reset your mind, because sometimes what's holding you back is you trying to hold on to the things that you had when you were raised with. And you're thinking, if I let go of this, that means I'm letting go of who I am. That's not true. You can create a new mindset. Desmond is one of the people, Desmond and Desiree, maybe Manuela as well. Some of the young people here have been part of our program, and they understand mindset. Desmond told me that after he took the program, his mindset shifted. He was able to set paradigms around himself, which are new and which are paradigms that he's going to carry on with his new and future family. It's okay to shift. Your family may not like it at some point, but you can gently and kindly talk to them. So you need to shift your mindset, and we'll give you tools on mindset shifting over time as we go along. But part of the mindset shifting and how you hold on to that is daily affirmations. What do you want? Most of you, sometimes even me, now I do know what I want, but most of you grew up in environments where you don't know what you want. What you want is what your parents and your environment and TV and social media has shown you that that's what is good to want. Am I right? If you can relate with me, just type true in the chat. Some of you, what you want is what TV has shown you. This is a good thing to have. It's good to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I'm sorry. I'd rather be influential, change people's lives, and make a lot of money and go somewhere on the beach or in Cameroon and sit there with my partner and kids and whatnot. I'm not looking to be famous. I've been in the famous world. Still live in it, actually. I live in LA. Couldn't get any more famous than that. I don't need fame. Promise you that. I know famous people that don't want the fame. They will trade it for your life. What do you want? Start there. And even if you write it down, I want so many things, write it down and then start prioritizing. Because sometimes you don't really know what you want. Why do you want what you want? And if you get it, how are you going to feel when you get it? Start envisioning it. Because to be honest, you know that they say everything is created twice. First in your mind and then in reality. If you've not envisioned, if you want to go somewhere, you get in a car, oh my God, I want to travel to Douala. Oh, I want to go to the United States. You have had pictures of how the United States looks like. You've had visuals of how Douala looks like. And in your mind, you know it when you get there. So if you don't envision it and create that feeling in your mind and start feeling the emotion of how you feel when you get there, it doesn't matter. You always go back to self-sabotaging. Because your mind will revert to what you're used to. We call it your frame of reference. What you reference yourself with. This is how I was raised. I come from this background. We're poor. We're struggling. The word struggle is in the mouths of a lot of young people today so much. And some of you don't even realize that you live better lives in Africa than a lot of people that live here in the United States. There is a place, I think Michael can confirm that, Skid Row in downtown LA. It's like a whole neighborhood of homeless people. They live in tents. Here in America, believe it or not. And some of you think not having lights is a problem. Some of you think struggling means if I am having the Gucci and all these additional things, that means my life is better. I promise you it's not. There's people that live in America here that don't have money to buy food. But you can go into a garden and harvest food and eat. I think you guys understand what I'm talking about. If you think that you're struggling, look around you. Do you have food to eat? Do you have a place to sleep and lay your head? Do you have people you could talk to? Or can you see? Are you healthy? Start there and be grateful. The next part of it, which helps me, is journaling. That's the next tool. Find a book, write down your thoughts and your feelings. It might be a little scrabble. Sometimes I hate to journal. Because I hate the feelings that I have, but I have to write them, whether they're good or bad. Journal. Healthy boundaries. Create healthy stuff. What are your standards? My standards are I like to look classy, sexy, and comfortable. I like to be in environments where people lift each other up. If I sit in an environment, my standards, I don't sit in environments where you're bringing people down. I don't talk about people randomly. I don't like that. What are your standards? Your standards should be things that guide you in life. I love to be around people that pray, people that are Christians, people that can support each other. You don't have to be a Christian to be around me. I've traveled over 100 countries in this world, and I've seen that religion is a tool that helps people to get to where they're going. Being spiritual and understanding what God is, who God is. For me, it's through Jesus. For somebody, it's through Muhammad. And for another person, it's Krishna. I don't know what you believe in. But your faith is what will lead you down the path where you will not have problems. Or if you have problems, you know how to navigate, you know who to call, it guides you. And then now you start finding the right people around you. They call them your tribe or your squad or whatever age you are. It helps you. So when you have healthy boundaries, the boundaries are not to keep people away from you. It's for you to be able to know how to take care of yourself and to know where your limits are. It's not to say, oh, don't cross my boundaries there. I get a lot of young people sometimes, they tell me, want anybody to talk to me? Like, that's fine. The boundaries are not for other people. They're for you to know this is my limit. I can't go beyond this. And you can communicate your boundaries to other people and let them know. What are your values? My number one value is problem solving. Problem solving. If you can learn how to solve problems with people, you're going to have problems with everybody. What did Bob Marley say? That everybody in your life is going to hurt you. Your mother, your father, your brother, your spouse, your children, you're going to choose who is worth hurting for. And when they hurt you, it's not to say, hey, you hurt me. Find a way to mend. How do you mend after conflict? Problem solving, conflict resolution, those are things they don't teach us. Critical thinking, right? And then the fourth one, before I get to the fifth and then we close and open it up for questioning. Taking action, small steps. What are you doing about it? Are you just going to talk about it and be a victim all day? Or are you going to take one step every day to get to where you want to be and change that situation? Because talking about your struggle all the time doesn't take the struggle away. It's the same thing that Desmond and Manuela did, that Desire did, and everybody else here. I don't know some of you, but hopefully we'll be able to get to know you guys in a little bit. How do you take steps to actually get to that place? Sometimes you feel so lethargic you don't want to get up. For me, some days I don't want to wake up. But when I do, what I do when I get to the bathroom is I brush my teeth with my left hand instead of my right. It knocks me off and it throws me off balance. Sometimes I walk backwards in my home. It gets my mind to sort of now start synchronizing in a proper way. But then I write my goals. What is it that I want to do? So you don't have to write them if you don't want to. You have a phone. Use it for what it's for. But set goals and make small steps towards getting to that goal. If your goal is, I want to be able to learn how to solve problems, ask yourself, who have I disagreed with? How can I take the first step? What do I need to do? My ego is in the way. How do I need to work with my ego to get it out of the way so that I can talk to them? And believe me, sometimes that ego looks like a big black wall. And once you break that wall, the other person is there waiting just to hug you. Ego is a liar. It's the devil. And if your goal is, I want to earn extra income, how much more money do you want to earn? If you want to say, okay, I want to make 100,000 extra, well, who are the ones that are making 100,000? See what they're doing. How can I get myself to that place where I can make that kind of money? What do I need to do? Steps, small goals. And the last but not the least, which is the most important, is faith. Your faith and your purpose. Those two things in alignment, that's where you always go back to. Because if there's nobody for you to talk to, there's always God for you to talk to. That's where prayer comes in. You can talk to God all day. And you can listen to God all day. Some of you hear this music that's playing in the background, right? It's like meditation music. You can find that on YouTube. Just go on YouTube and look for meditation music. I use it and I do deep breathing. I just lay down or I sit up straight, back straight, and I breathe. Because what is breath? That's God. When your breath leaves you, what happens? You're dead. It means there's no God in you. You go back to Earth and you're part of, the ecosystem and the galaxy or supernova or whatever you call that. So meditate and pray. Meditation for me is when I listen to God. I'm quiet. I'm breathing. I'm taking in air. I draw in air through my nose. I hold it for a few seconds. I release it slowly through my mouth. And if you guys want at the end of this call, we can do it, or maybe next call we can do it, because we always do it during our mentor sessions. We start with meditation. Reflecting, introspecting. When you finish writing down all of those thoughts, you look at them and you have a conversation with God. I talk to God. I don't always have to pray by going down and doing this. I'm driving and I'm having a chat with God. I'm interceding for my friends when I'm cooking or when I'm going for a walk or when I'm doing exercise. I'm talking to God. Thank you, Desmond. You're saying very relatable. So some of you, I need you guys to these 5 steps. I'm going to put them on a Canva meme, and I'll send them to Desmond and Manuela to pass it on to you guys. Okay. That way you can have something to start with. I'm working on a small book that's called Mind Right, Shine Bright, which you guys can have online, and you can print it out and put it as a little pocket book, and you can have that. You have all of these self-care tools, how to deal with self-sabotage, self-doubt, how to find the right kinds of circle to be with, some of these tools that you guys are going to need. And with that, I am going to open this up for... Did anybody send any questions, Desmond and Desiree?
Yeah, I think someone asked the question. The person says, but what can I do when I am really at rock bottom, lacking inspiration, when you have no reason to live, no source of motivation when you're...
I can't hear you very well, Desmond. Can you send me the question or read it out louder?
Okay, let me read it again. The person says, but what can I do when I am really at rock bottom, lacking inspiration, when you have no reason to live, no source of motivation, or when you are going through a period of weakness?
Okay, do you know who asked the question? Maybe we can have them ask the question by themselves.
Is it Dina?
Miss Dina? Dina? Is she here?
Yes, hello.
Okay, hi Miss Dina,
everyone.
how are you? Where are you logging in from?
I'm from Niger.
Niger?
Yes.
Awesome. So can you please ask your question?
Yes, I was asking, like,
and just raise your voice a little louder. Somehow I can barely hear you.
Okay.
Hope you guys could hear me when I was talking. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for this session. It's very... I'm inspired. Like, sorry for my English. I come from a French country, so...
Don't apologize for your English. You're fine. Continue.
Okay. I was asking, like, what can I do when I'm, like... Did you know there is some times when I don't have any inspiration to do anything. I feel really bad and I don't have any reason for life. As I wrote it, like, no source of inspiration, and I'm always sometimes I'm also facing sometimes like a weakness. My faith, I know that my faith is actually weak, but I don't know how to improve it. I don't know. I don't have any motivation to do anything. I don't have any reason to live. So what can I do in this kind of situation at this kind of moment? That was my question.
Thank you, Diane. May I ask how old you are?
27.
37. I understand where you're coming from. And if anybody can relate to Deanne, can you please say I relate? I can relate in the comments, please, because I want, first of all, for Deanne to know she's not alone. That this is something that is not an isolated situation. If any of you can relate, please say I can relate, so that Deanne knows that she's not alone, and we can just, you know, be able to share this. We've all been there, Deanne, and this is not an easy place to be in, okay? First of all, thank you so much for being open and vulnerable enough to be able to share that. I know that that's not easy to be able to talk about something like that, being where you're at. The first thing for me, and I would recommend some of the mentors in this group, if you can share it, Michael, if you can share, even if it's in a chat, because I know you're probably driving, if you can share a response in the chat for Deanne as well, because we have some other mentors that are logged in. Deanne, I'll tell you, when I get into that kind of place, I feel like that's when God is trying to get my attention. It may sound like the world is completely shut out and you're alone, but that's when God wants to get your attention. So you're literally in a position where you need to listen. You need to listen to God. You need to now start finding, this is my suggestion. Again, it's not gospel truth. You can choose what you want to. Most people, like I said, will go to church. Some people will find a mentor to talk to, and I will recommend, we have several mentors. I'll recommend that, I think after this call, I'll give the link to Desmond so that they can share it with you guys to know where to go and to ask those questions, and we can be able to assist you with them. Find people that have the kind of mindset that you want to emulate. Did she say that she has lost the will to live? She just said that she does not feel the desire to do anything. And if correct me if I'm wrong, Dina, it's more like she's she kind of loses her wits just to be able to get up and pick up herself. It's hard to figure out where she's at and being able to connect with people. And that's the reason why we like these questions typed out, so that we don't paraphrase it to something less. And I would like you to put that question again. Sorry, Dina. I'd like you to put that question again in the chat, so that if we're answering this question in the future, we want to be able to make sure that we're clear as to what we're responding to. Now, let me get back to what I am going to suggest. Again, find something that you can be grateful for at that point. When you start with gratitude, there are certain hormones that are secreted in our body when we're upset and when we're happy. When you're sad, tired, angry, frustrated, some hormones like cortisol are secreted in your body, and it can create toxins in your body where it starts causing disease. And that cortisol is one of the ones that I know. I don't remember the other ones from the top of my head. I can find them out and let you know. When you're angry, sad, all of those negative feelings, they secrete certain hormones in your body that create toxins. Because people ask, where is this toxins from? It's from those hormonal secretions, right? But when you are happy, if you have joy in you, if you have some kind of satisfaction, like let's say that you find something to be grateful for, it starts creating a good feeling in you. And these hormones are serotonin, oxytocin, there are several other ones, about 6 of them. Joy hormones is what they call them. And those hormones are actually healing to your body. And some people get to a point where they have to go see a doctor to give them medication that can secrete this happy hormone so that it can get them back into their mood. Some people, they call them anxiety pills. I'm not going to recommend that to you guys. I'm just saying some of the ways that I use to be able to get myself back in the mood is, number one, I find things to be grateful for. I make a list. I just look around me. I am happy to see that guitar sitting over there. It gives me the ability to create music. I am grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful that I used to not even think that I was beautiful at all. I don't think I am Mona Lisa or whatever that lady is, but I know that I'm beautiful enough. I don't have to be some vision of perfection for beauty, but I used to stand in the mirror and tell myself I'm beautiful, and then I'll be like, oh my God. And then now I'm like, yeah, I think I'm all right. And then now I'm like getting obsessed with that. So find things to be grateful for, Diane. Can you write that down? Gratitude. Start there. Find something that you can be thankful for. People in your life you can be thankful for. Whether it's this organization that is giving you the opportunity to ask this question. And then the second thing is, I already said that, find people around you that you can trust. We have the school platform. A lot of the young people go there and they share those kinds of things. Hey, I'm feeling this today. And then Desiree knows this. Desiree has been on it. The moment you say that you're feeling something and you want support, or you're celebrating, there are people that are celebrating their first job or their first salary, or somebody is saying, I tried something and it didn't work out. My self-esteem has shut down to zero. I just need some support. You have people in the group that can cheer you on. So find people that have the same mindset like you to be able to lift you up. Because sometimes, even though we have to do it on our own, sometimes you need somebody. The world will tell you, oh, you're on your own. That's true. We come on our own, we're going to go on our own. But trust me, there are times when you just can't do it on your own. When you're able to get out of that place, because I remember Diane said sometimes she doesn't even know how to pray. She doesn't even know how to lift herself up in faith. Am I correct, Diane? I just want to make sure that I'm not going outside of what you did mention. Okay, so you're asking how to do it.
Sorry.
When you're at rock bottom, out of inspiration, with no reason to live, no motivation, struggling with weakened faith. I promise you, I have struggled with weakened faith for the last, I would say, year and a half, 18 months. And I've had friends that will show up, cook a meal for me. I'm like, wait, what? There's such a thing? Or they'll cook food and bring it to me, or have friends that will get on a plane with their kids and their husband and come and spend time with me. I didn't know that I even had that. If I did not get to that rock bottom, I would have never known that I could have that. It would have been coasting. Right? So sometimes our rock bottom is a place where God wants to show us the things that we prayed for. It's not always a bad thing. And for me, the first question that I would ask Diane is, God, what are you trying to teach me? Open my heart. Open my mind to learn to surrender and to learn. Let me see you in this place. Nobody, I don't remember anybody that has ever learned or grown in a comfort zone. It's when you're uncomfortable at rock bottom that God meets us there. You're at your heights and you're like, oh my God, I bought myself a private jet. I'm sorry. Oh, I got this. And at that point, tell me which part of that makes you learn. That's after you've done the work, and then you get there. And then after that high, it literally just goes shook. And then at some point, you're like, okay, now I have shady friends. And then it makes you feel sad. And then now you learn in that place where you feel sad about shady friends, then you're like, okay, I need to set boundaries about the kind of friends that I need to have. Who are the kinds of friends? I don't have a lot of friends. Very few. I used to have, everybody was my friend. Oh my God. Everybody was my friend. Like I wanted to save the whole world. But now I'm very cautious about who I bring into my friendship space. I have a lot of acquaintances. But when you're my friend, no matter how much I hurt because of you, I'll show up for you. So start with those three things. Number one, gratitude. Find something to be grateful for. Go outside, breathe, and look at the ground. I've been to Niger. Beautiful. I went to Niamey. You live in Niamey?
Yes.
I went to Niamey, and It's very lovely, but all the other parts of Niger was not the same. That was the first time I actually saw a donkey pulling a car with like stuff on it. I was like, I've only seen these things in like Bible pictures. I didn't even think it still existed. But it was so beautiful. And we met with several authorities in your country, I think with the governor of Niamey before he passed away because of COVID. But there are people in Niamey that I can refer you to, that you can talk to, that are part of this organization that can support you. And if you did not ask, and if you did not get to that, and you never know, maybe referring you to those people might actually be an answer to some kind of prayer that you've had in terms of work, or you never know. So if you were coasting and not down in that rock bottom, you'll not be here to ask this question, and you'll not be able to have those relationships that are about to come to you right now. So it's not always a bad thing. So gratitude, number one. Number two, find friends and people that you can connect to and relate to. And number three, ask yourself and ask God, what is this here to teach me? And then get to learning. And if it is still persisting, call somebody. We're here. Reach out to Bella Masters. Go to the website or the Instagram or TikTok page. Message somebody. Hey, can I get a mentor, somebody to talk to me? We have mentors everywhere. Somebody will be there to talk to you, to lift you up. Okay? Does it help?
Yes, thank you so
All
much.
right.
I'm texting in the chat. That's why.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that you're
Yes,
aware.
I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Someone asked, how can they deal with procrastination? She finds herself setting goals but never accomplishes them. I don't know who this is. If you want to announce yourself, let us know. But I want to tell you this. I struggled with procrastination for so long. And I can tell you, one of the things that I learned about procrastination is that I didn't love or trust myself enough. I didn't trust the fact that I could do what it is that came to my mind that I wanted to do. The procrastination was not the fact that I couldn't do the thing, because last minute, last hour, I'll go boom, 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 and I get that stuff done. Because inside of me, I know I can do it. But somewhere in my subconscious, growing up, some kind of trauma, when I was a kid, I don't know, still trying to figure that out. Somebody told me that I was not good enough, or I couldn't do this thing. Procrastination, most of the time, I cannot say entirely, is when we don't trust ourselves that we can do the thing that we say we want to do. We're either afraid to fail at it, or we're afraid that we do not have the capacity to sustain the success that will come with it. Digging deeper. And sometimes you might write the goals and still accomplish all of your goals and you're still not satisfied. So procrastination is not really something that you have to do. It's you asking yourself, do I trust myself? Do I believe in myself? And if you don't believe in yourself and you don't trust yourself, find people that can help you to speak life into you. And sometimes you can find somebody to hold you accountable. Have somebody that can hold you accountable to say, hey, I want to go to the gym this morning. Can we do it together? Or can you find somebody that can hold you accountable? And if they hold you accountable, you're not going to stand there and try to disagree with them, because that can also get really funny. I don't know if that helps. If anybody else has any additional suggestions for how to deal with procrastination, that's how I work through procrastination. So I had to be able to find a way to trust myself and say, I will do it afraid. I'll spin around and spin around and spin around, and at the end of the day, I'll still get it done. Procrastination doesn't mean you don't get to do it. It just means that you're stalling because you're afraid of something. Either the failure of the thing or the success of the thing. Who said they cannot hear me? What happened? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, somebody typed that they couldn't hear me, so maybe it's their network. So someone shared a contribution to Diana's success. Find friends who will hold her hands when she's down. Yep, that's one of the things we shared. She can surround herself with a Christian group of friends or whichever faith she's a part of, and who hold her hands to follow at times. Thank you, Ms. Ebude, for sharing that. She should also add gratitude to talk therapy. Yes, talk therapy is also very good. Find someone to speak with. Diane, you should read the comments. It's right there.
Yes,
So if that's all the question, I would love to be able to open it up for anybody who wants to ask a question. I don't know if I answered your question properly about procrastination, but that's how I dealt with it. I tried to learn how to find a way to trust myself or find somebody that can hold me accountable to do the thing that I needed to do, and break it into tiny little pieces and prioritize what it is that you need to do. You could say all of these things and break it and still procrastinate in those tiny little pieces. Trust me, I've done that. But I needed to be able to face myself to say, if I fail at this, what would I do? Well, too bad, you failed. Then you try again. If I succeed at this, what will be the next step? Those are some of the things that I did. If anybody has any suggestions to deal with procrastination, please share. And if you want someone in this group to help you hold you accountable, share that as well, so that we can be able to pair you with someone, whatever it is that you're trying to deal with. But these are real life issues that everybody deals with, guys. And sometimes you're quiet because you don't know who to talk to. You don't have anybody to share that with. A problem shared is a problem half solved, right? Am I right, guys?
Right.
All right.
yeah.
I want to open this up to anybody who has a question. We're going to take 3 more questions because this is supposed to end at 10:30. And then if not, I would also like you guys to share in the chat where you're logging in from. I didn't know there's someone in Niger. We have Cameroon, USA. I know Philippines from what I was told. Please share where you're logging in from while we're waiting for somebody. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question and we'll call on you. V Money says a problem shared is a gossip topic. That's depending on which kind of friends that you have, you know. But it could be true. So it could be a gossip topic, but we don't want that, right? There's healthy gossip where you're sharing to say, how can we help this person solve the problem? I'm waiting to hear. Does anybody have a question? Please do a hand raise. If not, then we can do introductions. Logging in from the UK. Gomer Linda, good to hear from you. Good to see you. Any questions, or have you guys understood the self-care tool? And this is like, you guys are Mac Daddies now on self-care. You're badass. Cameroon. Okay, V Money. Let's not Kongosa, okay, please. All right. I can see Cameroon, UK. All right, Desmond, do you have anything else to add to this conversation for today in terms of self-care? Michael, if you want to share as well, please let me know. I know you're probably wanting to just be a listener, but you have so many tools to share, and I've learned a lot from you. So, any questions? You guys are so awfully quiet. We want more entertainment.
I have something to share. Actually,
I'm sorry?
I have something to share. You mentioned having the right people around you.
I'm sorry. Let
In
me.
your
I mentioned having people around when
like when you're going through certain phases in life, certain difficult phases, having the right people around you, talking to
yes.
people. And I just wanted to acknowledge your point again, which is very important for us young people. And I'm grateful. One thing that I'm grateful for is having a friend and a sister. She's in Latvia, but distance was not a barrier to our friendship. Someone who told me the truth when I was acting crazy and weird, and someone will hold my hand and advise me and be like, sis, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. You made a mistake. It's fine. Someone who is always ready to pour into me, and I'm also ready to pour into her. The aspect of friendship is very important for us young people, because you find you get so you feel lonely, and then the moment someone comes to you and smiles with you, have a couple of conversations with you already start pouring everything to that person, whereas that person could have his or her own agenda. The person is not genuine. The person is not ready to be a real friend to you, as a friend should actually be with another person. So if that's something that I'm grateful for, having a friend who has my back. I don't know if there's anybody who can relate with that aspect of friendship.
Thank you so much, Manuela. That adds to the point that we talked about, to be able to find the right friends. And sometimes it's hard for people to find friends that you could trust. That's why we create a group like this. Because if you go to an environment where you have common people that have common mindsets and thought processes, don't try not to do everything in life alone. Yes, you live life alone, and a lot of times when problems happen and challenges happen, or you go through trauma, what the default is, I'm going to put a block. I'm going to shut everybody out. I'm going to, focus on this thing alone because I can't depend on nobody. Don't try to do it alone.
That's true.
Don't try to do it alone. It's okay to live your life alone and know that, okay, this is my thing. I'm going to work on this. But find people that you could trust. And if you find somebody and they betray your trust at some point, find a lesson in it and move on and find somebody else. Ask yourself, what did I do? What did I miss? And sometimes people don't betray your trust because they really intend to. They just really don't know any better. And you can also be the one to teach them or have grace. Okay, guys? So, yeah, the fact that we all go through, I remember a lot of traumatic experiences that I had growing up. And it was hard for me to say my parents were not perfect. Because, how would you say that your parents were not perfect? How dare you? But there was a time when I acknowledged that my parents gave me what they could, because God used them to bring me into the world. And the rest of it, I had to work on it on my own. But if I learn how to appreciate and acknowledge them where they were at, and not ostracize them, and some people come from families that your parents may be physically abusive. That's a different conversation. But still, you can bless that space, leave them there, and create a new space for yourself. Maybe you did not grow up with your own parents, and you're wondering where your parents are. Those are things that would mess with you when you're trying to go to school, get a degree, get a job, get a family. Those things will come. That's where the real fight is. The real fight is not when you're taking an exam in class, guys. It's the truth. Because after you pass that test, you pass that entrance exam, you get the certificate or the degree. Please mute yourselves, guys, please. And you get the degree, then what? You're dealing with real life issues, and everybody's dealing with the same thing. I remember Michelle Obama said something that she and Barack Obama, everybody thinks that they have a vision of perfection. She talked about her struggles before she met Barack, but she mentioned something about some challenges that she had with Barack when they had just got married and had their first child. And somebody online was upset at her for exposing their relationship. I'm like, it's called transparency. Because at this point, now people know her. They understand who she is, and she's a leader, and she can be transparent in a way that can help other people to be able to know that it's okay. Somebody's pedestal, putting people on pedestals can make them feel uncomfortable to deal with you as a human being. So please don't deal with these issues alone. That's why we're creating this space. Bella Masters has a cohort program we create. It's a 5-week program. And we've not launched that yet. We're looking to launch it again in March. I'm sorry, in May.
Sorry.
Excuse me. We're looking to launch that in May, and we'll make sure we let you guys know if you want to take that. And with that, we have mindset sessions where Stedman Graham is the one that teaches that. And maybe in the future, we might find somebody else to teach that. But we also give you advice on career development and business development and financial education, financial literacy, technology. And then we have these mental sessions every week where you can navigate life and find answers to some of those questions that, you know, pester you on a day-to-day basis. And those answers are not on a billboard, on somebody's perfect look. Those answers are not on somebody's highlight reel on social media. Those answers are not there. They're in the Bible. But how do we take them from the Bible or from your Quran or whatever you're reading and bring it to you in real life? That's all we're doing here. Everybody in this call today, if you agree with me, type yes. Everybody in this call today is dealing with some crap. If you're aligned with that, please type yes. Are you dealing with something that you feel is overbearing and is weighing down on you, and you would love somebody to help you deal with, or help you hold your hand, or support you, or just even say, I'm here for you? Sometimes it's just somebody to say, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's enough. And then you can lay in your bed and just be like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm going. It just gives you joy. Right, guys? Some days you deal with it alone, but you don't have to bear it all alone. And I don't know if everybody here is a Christian. Anybody here that's non-Christian, can you indicate, or you can do that? Let us know, because I wanted to be able to see if we can just pray for you guys. Anybody here that's non-Christian? Yay, Miss Dina, you're Muslim. I know that because you're from Niger. Like,
Yes.
is it okay? Because usually when I would work with my client from Niger, Usman, when we're praying, he would pray with us as a Christian. So if it's okay with you, I just wanted to pray with all of you guys.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you guys mind if we pray together?
It's okay.
All right. Anybody who wants us to pray should say it okay in the chat room, so that I'm not just Anybody wants us to pray, just type okay. I don't want to impose my will on you guys. All right, let's go for it. And once we pray, we're going to be done and we can say introductions. Dear God, we want to come before your throne of grace and say thank you for an amazing day. It's a beautiful day that you have made. You've given us breath to wake up, to be able to see the blue sky and the ground underneath our feet, to stand up, to be able to have internet, even phones, computers, internet that we can log in from different parts of the world and just share moments and fellowship with each other. We want to say thank you. And for everybody that has logged onto this call, those that wanted to log in and couldn't join, we want to pray and bless this day for them and ask that as they go along, whatever ails them, whatever challenges they face, you have already gone ahead of them to resolve it for them. Please open their hearts, help them to see you and see the path that you've created for them to be able to resolve this particular challenges. But most of all, God, we ask that wherever you are highlighted in their lives, let them find the shiny places, the beautiful things about themselves, to be able to highlight things that they're grateful for. We thank you that at this point of time in our lives, we're dealing with a world that looks like it's falling completely apart. But in this particular program with Bella Masters, you're raising leaders leaders that will lead themselves effectively and will be able to go on ahead and lead others in a way that we can find peace in our world again, peace in our hearts, and peace in our world again. And this is not going to be an easy thing to do. You never promised it was easy, but you told us you'd be with us the entire time, and it will be worth it. So wherever anyone in this call is facing a burden, Father, you said that you would lift their burden and you'll be there with them, just like you lifted it, Jesus. I thank you so much for the fact that they've chosen themselves to be able to come here and just seek some additional guidance that shows that they are one step ahead of everybody else. And we thank you and we pray that whatever their goals and dreams are, you give them a sign, some sign today. Let them look for that sign that that dream and that goal is going to come true and will happen for them. I pray that you guide their path and you love on them. Let them find people around them that will lift their spirits up, that will hold them accountable if they want to procrastinate. And if anything tries to hold them back, let them stop at nothing to believe and trust in you so that they can trust in themselves. Let them learn to love themselves because you are in them. If God is in them, then they're worthy of love. They're enough. And no one can tell them otherwise. And we look forward to the next session, which will be Saturday, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you, God, and go ahead of us like you've always done and be a blessing to our lives and to our families. And we pray in Jesus' name, amen. All right. Thank you, guys. Now the chat is open. You guys can chat and say whatever you want to say. Open up your videos. Tell us where you're from. And then we'll close this in about 5 minutes. I'd like to close at 10:25. All right, guys, we're done. I see somebody who's called, I thought I saw somebody's name whose name is Crystal. Thank you again for joining. We do appreciate you. Ask your friends to join us next week. We'll make sure that we do a bigger, better promotion for this. Thank you, Natasha. And thank you, Dina. Thank you, Michael, Destiny, Desiree, Linda. I don't know who else is here. Courtney, thank you so much. We just want to say thank you to all of you. Next week, another 90 minutes starting at 9 a.m. in the morning. Gigi, I phoned the Gigi. And I would also like you guys who are Muslims to also share with us some of the ways that you like to pray and talk to God and how that works for you. Because again, this is a safe space. We're not trying to monopolize the space. Taco, Terra Precious, Nkem. I just want to say thank you guys. If anybody has anything else to share, please do so. If not, I'm going to close the chat. And I'll see you guys same time next week, okay? 9 a.m. Pacific time. Go on Google and look up what time is Pacific time and match it up with your time so that you don't get it confused. Because some people thought it was 8 a.m. this morning. It is 9 o'clock. And then in October, it will switch back to 8 o'clock. And we'll make sure that I send you these tools. Those of you that logged in with your email, we will have that. And then Manuela can probably put them also on social media because Manuela and Albert and